centers that we spoke about governing hunger and satiety. And here we see a number of the feedback pathways that are involved. We have a hormone called ghrelin that is secreted by the stomach. That hormone is secreted if we haven't eaten for a long time. And it stimulates feeding. Okay, so that's something that tells you, listen man, stomach shrinking. You're not eating enough, you need to eat some more. We have hormones like insulin that are released when you have had a big meal and your amino acid, fats and sugar levels are high in the blood, you release lots of insulin. So what effect will insulin have? That will inhibit further feeding, stop you from eating anymore. When the food comes out of the stomach into the duodenum, it stimulates the release of a hormone called cholecystokinin. Cholecystokinin again signals that you got good food, and it will act on the brain to inhibit further feeding. Okay? There is a large intestinal hormone, PYY, peptide YY, and that also tends to inhibit feeding. We have a long-term feeding control mechanism in the fat. The more fat we deposit. And that's how we store excess food. We convert it to fat and put it into our adipose tissue. And as the adipose cells swell, they secrete a hormone called leptin. Very important hormone. And that hormone provides you with a long-term down-regulation of your drive. Okay? A lot of work being done on leptin now to see if that can help. Apparently, some people who are obese, there is a problem with feedback. One of the problems, of course, is that we are apparently born with a fixed number of fat cells. And we can either keep those cells or lose them. And that starts off from a very early stage. And if we develop poor eating habits from a very early stage, then we end up with more fat cells than the usual person. And if those fat cells aren't producing sufficient leptin to cause an inhibition of our eating, then we tend to, we can store a lot of fat if we have more fat cells without distending the fat cells as much because we have plenty of cells to put the fat in. And consequently, the leptin feedback is less marked, and therefore we tend to put it on as a consequence. Okay, so the business is complicated. I don't even want to go into this too much. It basically says what we've been saying here, that there are cells in the hypothalamus which respond to things like insulin, leptin, CCK, and to ghrelin. And the consequence of that is that you have two different kinds of drive. One to promote feeding and the other to inhibit feeding. Okay, and that's all we need to do. So don't need to go into it. Okay? Now, notwithstanding all of those physiological checks and balances that we have built into our system for controlling feeding, a lot of our feeding behavior has to be learned. A lot of it is strongly influenced by psychological factors. So if you grow up in a home atmosphere where food is taken to be a way of expressing happiness or satisfaction with you, and withholding of food as a way to censor. And that can cause different kinds of psychological problems. People often take food as comfort. and you get comfort eating when you are upset or disturbed. So it's never as simple as it looks from the start. And learning and the circumstances that you come to associate with food can influence very much the way you eat. Fundamentally, the bottom line is that if you take in more energy than you gain weight, you store the excess energy in the form of energy. And if you put out as much energy as you take in, and you maintain that balance,